Guys, we're so excited. Today we're going to give you a day one review, or like day -4, I should say, of Borderlands 3. We obviously got sent a code from 2K Games because they love us. We've been playing it all week.
We don't have a code for Borderlands 3, bro.
Shut up, man. We need the clicks.
Oh yeah. We have a review code.
Yeah. Stick around after the drop for our review. Okay, guys, so as you may well have guessed, we didn't get review code.
We did not get one.
For some reason. I don't know why. It's not like we've ever spoken about Randy Pitchford.
We've only said nice things.
I mean, we love his singing. I mean, we've only ever said nice things about it. So it's weird that 2K would not give us a code, but either way, they didn't. And so we are now relying on other reviews to give us our first look at how Borderlands 3 actually shapes up. So we wanted to show you at least some of the highlights of those reviews, and then have a talk about it, and also talk about why some of this review shit is pretty shady, and why it raises some red flags for us.
It sounds like another drop then, but anyway, let's drop again.
Like another drop.
First one comes from Destructoid, Chris Carter. Borderlands 3 takes most of the good bits of Borderlands 2 and either rolls with them or improves upon them. It didn't need to reinvent the wheel either, as Gearbox pretty much had the formula figured out the second time around.
Paul Tassi of Forbes gave it 9 out of 10. He says Borderlands 3 was worth the wait and will be a fixture in this genre for years to come, and I think few fans of the last two will be disappointed when they get their hands on it at last.
Then IGN James Duggan, 9 out of 10. If Borderlands 3 is what happens when a modern looter shooter doesn't concern itself with the longevity of its item economy and daily quests, then you can sign me up for Borderlands 4 right now. Being untethered from persistent servers and able to trade loot at will is a refreshing change of pace, but that's hardly the only reason why this is such an amazing co-op FPS. The sheer magnitude and diversity of its arsenal of fun and surprising weaponry is unmatched. And the striking amount of loving detail and variety packed into its energetic and replayable 30-hour campaign is what makes Borderlands 3 a high point for the series and the genre as a whole.
Well read, Sam.
Thank you.
Very well read.
I had to do 1 or 2 takes.
They were some of the more glowing reviews. There were 2 outlets that were much more critical. First of all, Polygon Ben Kuchera says Borderlands 3, if it works well at launch, is a competent game that feels like a passable continuation of the franchise instead of an evolution. It's the same general idea, but with new vault hunters, but with little of the joy and danger that I fell in love with in the earlier entries. That's pretty rough, but not as rough as PC Gamer, who
not
said...
enough lands, Polygon said. Borderlands, not enough lands.
That's IGN.
That was IGN, sorry.
PC Gamer were much more scathing, though. They said 63 out of 100 they scored it. An endless font of bad jokes and cool guns in the series' most vapid story yet. Borderlands 3 skates by on watching numbers fly and goons explode. So that's pretty rough. Oof. That was definitely the harshest of all the reviews. So I think what you can take away from these reviews at a high level... By the way, we haven't played it, so we can't...
We played it at E3. We played it at E3.
Small bit at E3,
sure.
1 level. It looks just like more Borderlands, right? And I feel like that's okay because, I mean, you have to remember, there are a lot of Borderlands fans who still to this day play that game and have thousands of hours racked up in it. They don't necessarily want something very different, they just want more Borderlands.
Yeah.
However, there are obviously going to be some people who want some sort of evolution in the series, be that in terms of its structure or be that in terms of its tone.
Yep.
It seems like the PC Gamer in particular, their review, really didn't like the fact that the humor hasn't evolved, but like Borderlands humor is just Borderlands humor, man. It's meant to be dumb. That's what it is.
We weren't the only ones that didn't get review codes, by the way. Look, there's only a handful of people that actually did. Let's make that point quickly. Like, there's a giant pool of very, well-respected YouTubers and media outlets that did not get review code, and for me, that is a red flag.
It's a big red flag.
Keep it secret. Keep it.
Why are they doing this? Now, it's a tried and tested process that we've seen, that if the developer and publisher believes in their product, they get it far and wide. God of War, Gears 5 recently, they gave heaps of codes out because they believed in the product.
Yes.
In this, for me, I'm like, Does this mean that they think either there's a lot of problems with this game, or they thought that the actual initial build could not maybe sustain a lot of reviewers jumping on and crashing and whatnot?
Kotaku recently read about this. Jason Schreier said that 2K did respond to their request for review code and declined, citing security concerns. It sounds like a complete crock of shit to me. Yeah, I know. It's
That's ridiculous.
This is what really makes this sound super weird. They're basically saying that there's security issues with releasing code to the likes of Kotaku.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, if it was the Laymen, maybe.
But it's just fucking bullshit, to be honest with you. Like, totally. I mean, review codes are a very standard thing. It's since time immemorial. That's how it's been done. You sign an NDA, you get the code, that's it. And very rarely do people break. So I know there are issues that this game has had with security and the submatter thing, which we won't even talk about that now because 2K really just were complete fucking assholes in that. But I understand that there's heightened security requirements, but to give such limited code out to such an exclusive number of games outlets and 0 YouTubers and 0 Twitch streamers, that fills me with a lot of dread, because I think that you're more likely to get the really hard, scathing reviews from YouTubers and Twitch streamers than you are from mainstream outlets. I'm not going to have a go at these outlets. I know that people love to hate on them, but I would say that you're more likely to get a more raw review from other platforms. And they've shielded themselves from that.
And I think that, like, yes, there is a stigma attached to that, of course, when in terms of, like, you know, if the review's coming from, you know, a media outlet, it's going to be softer. But that's a try. Like, we've seen that now for years. If a game is garbage, they'll still give it a 7 most of the time, you know. So, like, that's not because people are just like pulling random numbers out of thin air. We can see that with most reviews that they put out. So Borderlands is obviously looking at this and going, we need to, like, comfortably get 7, 8s, and 9s, and we can bank on that with a media outlet. Another thing is the review code was only given through this specific login through Epic Games. What is that?
I think the Polygon article is actually quite an interesting and important read. I know, look, people don't like clicking on Polygon, but
I never thought that Ralph would say that. But here we are.
But seriously though, it has a really interesting section that talks about the exact way they got their review code. So the way it usually works is that you get a code that you sort of like download from Steam or from Epic Games Store or whatever, and that's it. You just play the game. It's a review build, which means it's about 99.95% finished, and they'll change a few things at launch.
Yep.
So what they did this time around, which was very odd, was they gave reviewers an Epic Games Store login instead of giving them a code for the game, and then they downloaded it onto their own accounts. Okay. I don't know why they did this. It's very odd. I've never heard of this sort of thing before. But anyway, that's what they did. PC and Polygon actually talked about how many technical issues they encountered. They asked us to stay away from the DirectX 12 implementation. We experienced serious issues. The game crashed frequently, and those crashes were experienced separately by 3 Polygon staffers playing on 3 different gaming PCs in different parts of the country. One of us lost a character after putting 6 hours into the game and had to start from scratch. After a day or 2 of playing, random crashes became something I would expect, not anything that surprised me, and they got worse as we went through the game. Quests would glitch out, waypoints would refuse to show up until the game was restarted, a pop-up window was randomly giving me instructions about what to do if mission-critical vehicles were blown up or I got stuck in a level, even though nothing of this sort was happening. I guess someone on the team expected that to be an issue, but it wasn't? This is quite a concerning picture for a game that went, gold a month ago.
It's out in a few days.
It's out in a few days, and they're getting this level of technical issue with their review code.
This review wouldn't have been done months ago. It would have been done like literally a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I mean, when this goes out to the mass audience of, potentially millions of players, if they're having these problems with the servers now, God knows what's going to happen when it actually goes out to potentially millions of people playing it once. God knows what happens.
I think this is probably the reason why we saw such limited review code. My guess is that this is probably a great game, right? I think that enough of the reviewers that I've seen, what I played at E3, what we expect, it's just more Borderlands.
E3 felt great.
This is probably a great game. I suspect that the reason they limited review code in the way that they did was because the technical state wasn't fully baked. And I think that's what people need to be really cautious of. Good news though, guys. It's in early access for the next 6 months on PC. Am I right?
Comes out March 2020.
Am I right, PC Master Race? So look, you guys can obviously take your time and just see how it lands and wait for 1 or 2 patches. Maybe you get your confidence that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It comes out this Friday. We will be playing and reviewing it during that time. So
I go to Tokyo on Monday, so I'm going to try and get impressions down before then. But it has been a giant meme in terms of getting up to this moment. I'm excited to see how they handle after launch.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, we remember how Randy's acted on Twitter and the whole like USB porn thing. Like, there's been heaps of stuff with Randy. But to see how he might have to take some critical feedback after launch will be very interesting on Twitter. I'm excited for that.
I think it's going to make for some good Laymen episodes.
Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Quick roundup. But look, I mean, I was very confident about this game. Now, I'm still confident, but there's a lot more room for doubt now in terms of how this
definitely
will run.
some questions that this raises. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated as it goes, guys. Wait, we'll keep you updated as it goes. Anyway, we love you. We'll see you next time.
Out
Bye-bye.
Yong.